Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning, I'm going to be reacting to a playlist requested by Hobbit. Hobbit is going to have a contributing part in this playlist. It's called A Commissar's Story, made by Old Man Reacts. And yes, I'm also returning to Old Man Reacts content on Warhammer 40k. I'm not sure where does Hobbit feature in the episodes. I think there's like 4 or 5 episodes that are out already. But yes, I'm here to react to the playlist, and let's see what's this all about. A Commissar's Story Part 1, Avathon 4. That's the first episode. Yes, okay, let's start. Oh yes, remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Old Man Reacts YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, Commissar. How are you on this Emperor-blessed day?
Hospitaller, my guest is here. I'll be in my quarters.
Was that the secretary?
Understood.
Sitting down, getting your favorite whiskey. Are you going to reminisce on the past? Yeah.
Hello, Jeffries. It's happening again. It must be that time of year. Don't get me wrong, Jeffries. It happens all the time. It just gets worse now. At the bottom of every amasec, when I wake up and turn on the lights, a flash or a reflection off a shine surface, it just gets worse. Do you remember when it used to startle me? I was in the middle of a staff meeting 3 years after it happened. I was in a command level meeting about a Tyranid incursion. The lights were dim. We were watching some holovid. The vid ended and then someone flicked a switch and bam. The eyes were right there watching me. Only for an instant, less than the time it takes to really blink. My bolter was already out of its holster, though. That required some explaining, Jeffries. You'd be surprised how many times a day I see those eyes now. Anything can remind me. Anything can bring me back. Facing my demons has never been a problem, but this is just... well, torture. When I got the assignment, I thought it was a joke. Avathon IV? I thought for absolute sure that the Lord Commissar had misspoken. I even remember thinking maybe he meant Agathon, but no, he was completely serious, Jeffries. I had never even heard of the system. I had barely even heard of the Varanus subsector, but the only times I had heard of it was only in passing.
Okay, wait, let me just write this down as well. Varanus subsector. Okay. What, is there something wrong with the planet?
Thought I had done something wrong, that I had come short in some titanic measure when I was reading the report. But how, with my marks from the scholar, with the merit of Taralos I wore on my chest, with the personal commendation of the Lord Commissar himself that was given to me the day he put on my sash? The answer I got made the situation no better. The regimental commissar on Avathon IV was dying, and I was the most junior despite everything else.
Wait, so those who are commissars, they're commissar for life. They don't retire. They're commissars for life until they die, and then they're replaced by a new commissar. Huh. Alright.
So there it was, and there I was on the way to replace him. Jeffries, I hated everything about the assignment. From the reasons to the reports, even the ride on the civilian bulk hauler to get there. The crew avoided me like the plague, and with my mood, I didn't care.
Well, you are a commissar. No one's gonna just sit next to you and start talking up to you, being friendly and everything. You probably shoot them in the head.
Avathon IV, population 5 million. Agri-world, primary export, grains.
Okay, wait, let me write that down as well. It's an agri-planet. Alright. I don't think I need to write down the main export. That's not important.
They had even left the secondary export field blank. No history of uprisings or conflicts. No wars it was involved in. No civil unrest even. And to make matters even worse for my mood, if it could have gotten worse at that point, the planet only maintained a quarter of an infantry regiment for the Imperial Guard and less than 25,000 PDF troopers.
Well, so you've been reassigned to a rural, quiet home, a quiet planet, And yeah, I think your life is going to be nice, but maybe you don't want that. Maybe because you're so young and so ambitious, you want to have that lifestyle, that one of, being heroic and, taking your troops out to battle against, destructive and evil and just frightening creatures out in the galaxy. Maybe you want to be that person, but I guess it's just not your time to be that person. And who knows, you might actually enjoy it, being on an agricultural, rural planet like Avathon IV. Yeah. Poor guy.
I was born in a hive, Jeffries. All of the time in my life had been spent breathing in the air of the hives, surrounded by spires and the cast of lumen globes, and here I was on the way to a planet where the biggest city held less than 30,000 civilians.
Wow. That's just a huge change. It's like taking someone from the major cities of the world and taking them to the most rural, distant, and isolated communities on the planet with no electricity, no water, no internet connection, no proper transportation. You're out there with the sheep, the goat, the cattle, and just living the rural life. And yeah, that can be, like a very traumatic situation for someone to deal with. So yeah, I understand.
I never considered how beautiful the world was. No, I saw it as something ugly. A prison for me, for a decade or longer if I was forgotten here by the Commissariat. But it was beautiful, a floating orb of green and gold cut with these pools of blue, the sort of artistry a painter would spend their entire life struggling to capture even in a fragment of its wonder. To me at that moment, though, it was the representation of everything ugly. Jeffries, my earliest memories had been watching bulk haulers landing on one of the 4 starports I could see out of the small window of my own hab block. Now I was going to step into that city of 30,000 Ceres after touching down on the only starport on the planet. When I landed and I inhaled the air, the clean air of that world, it somehow felt oppressive. That's when I first saw them. That's when I first saw the eyes. The one they belonged to surprised me because how did someone as young as him ever get into the Imperial Guard? He was so young then, Jeffries. And he seemed optimistic until his eyes met mine. The first thing I did to that guardsman was glare my contempt at him, and apparently he wasn't used to that. In fact, the honored guard that had met me all straightened like they had been hit by an electro whip. Lack of discipline. Or so I thought at the time. When I met the dying Commissar I was replacing, I never even bothered to make note of their name, but I was struck by just how relaxed he was, how familiar he was with the guardsmen. By the throne, he was addressing some of them on a first-name basis. I couldn't even fathom what I was witnessing. Insult to injury, there I am, standing in full dress uniform during the change of the Commissar's command, and instead of pomp and circumstance, I get tossed the keys to what the Commissar referred to as the Bane Blade. It was a damn Tauros. Every other regimental Commissar I had ever heard of at least had access to a beat-up Chimera. I got a Dune Runner that looked like it had been through the Siege of Rax twice and had been on the wrong side of an Earthshaker bombardment. So there it was. I was now technically the senior commissar of a regiment, the Avathon Rifle Corps, which would have been a high mark for someone as young as I was if no one really looked at the particulars. If someone did, it was almost shameful. I held commissarial duty over a quarter regiment that hadn't deployed in over 3,000 years. No one is coming to take 2,500 guardsmen from an agri-world that is so close to so many other hive worlds. No one's requisitioning men and putting the effort needed when drawing 1,000 times that many is less than a week's warp's transit away.
Yeah, you know, yes, your planet may not be that important, and your regiment may not be that many, and they may not have been deployed for over 3,000 years. Yes, you know, your life is going to be quite peaceful and boring on this planet, but rest assured, Commissar, anything can happen. Anything can happen. The fact that you're in such close proximity to hive worlds, those are perfect targets for orcs, for any other type of incursion, maybe even the Tyranids, and your planet might be in the crossfire or crosshairs of one of these potential enemies. So anything can happen, get to know your regiment, get to train them, to prepare them for any kind of eventuality. That's your job. That's your job. Okay? Make do with what you have. Yes, it's boring, but you will grow, you will learn to like it eventually. Yeah.
No one's gonna put in that effort. That didn't matter to me, though. 2 hours after I hung my uniforms in my quarters in what passed for a regimental headquarters in Ceres, I called for an assembly. These troops could hate me, but I couldn't care less now. I might be stuck on this pit of a planet, but I refused to fail in my duty. I drilled them. I drilled them in march and firing and combat simulations. I drilled them in uniform, hand-to-hand combat. I can count at least 10 times in the first 6 months, Jeffries, that I almost shot the regimental commander for arguing about how hard I was pressing. I would not be found wanting when the chance came to get off of this rock.
That's good. That's a good, attitude to have on this, Yes, you're on this planet, but, make do with what you have. Prepare it, sharpen this tool, make it as deadly as possible, for any kind of eventuality, or if there's going to be an inspection from, some Commissar, Lord Commissar's attendants who come to the planet to inspect your work. You have to be prepared. You have to be ready with your regiment. They have to be looking presentable. They have to be looking respectable and competent in what they're doing. So yes, train the sword, sharpen the sword, make sure that it's ready for any type of threat. And these people who are complaining, saying that you're pushing them too hard, probably you should take out your gun on them, just for show, just for control. If you want to say something, say it while I'm taking out the gun at your face. Say it now. Say it. Yeah, I like that.
I saw the eyes a lot then. Sometimes they were exhausted, and at first they were just bitter. Do you want one? Of course you don't. I thought the guardsmen had...
Wait, guys, Old Man Reacts, is Jeffries there? Or is he dead and you're just talking to yourself? Or, like, what's going on? Huh.
been put through their proper paces in a long time, and I ignored protests from everyone, the regimental staff, even the planetary governor who objected to me ordering a 10-mile march during Harvest Day. Apparently, he had expected me to march the entire regiment into Ceres and then cut them loose on a 2-day pass to celebrate the holiday. But then it happened. It happened slowly, but it began to happen. I came to the end of a file and realized I had nothing else to write or file, nothing else to report, nothing else to do. I remember the realization of what it did to me, Jeffries. For the next week, you want to know what I did? Besides drill the men, all I did was polish and clean my uniforms. I think after that week I could have been awarded the Star of Terror for diligence in uniform standards. And then that week turned into 2, and then 3. Tasks like recruiting a new guardsman into the ranks or a promotion that I used to hate for how boring it was became these little islands of relief from the lack of something to focus myself on. It was then, and I was in the 2nd hour of polishing my boots, in the 3rd week of polishing my boots, that a knock came on my door.
No, man, this is unhealthy. Yes, I've been saying, I've been championing this, this initiative that you're having about, sharpening the blade, keeping it ready for any type of eventuality, right? But to be polishing your shoes continuously like this is not healthy. You need to explore the planet that you're on, Know every single nook and cranny. Know its defenses, its weaknesses, its strengths. How the people organize themselves. What do the people do? And, how is it related to the Imperial Guard that's on the planet, You need to understand these people so that when that day comes, when this planet is invaded, you know how to communicate with these guys. You don't have to be taking out the gun at them and forcing them to do whatever it means necessary to defend the planet against the enemy, And if you have the cooperation of the leadership on the planet, then that's much more better. So, yeah, polishing your clothing and your shoes, it's nice and all, but you gotta get your hands dirty as well. You gotta know where you are. You gotta understand the community. Yeah.
It was that young guardsman I had seen when I took my first step onto this world. He looked fit now. He had put on muscle. In fact, he was in the top 5% of the Avathon rifles in every regard.
Your hard work is paying off.
I knew this because, well, Jeffries, I spent days upon days polishing my boots and buttons. How much of that time do you think I just spent researching personnel files for no other reason than to do something with them? Up until about 5 minutes before he entered my office, if someone asked me what he asked me, I would have made absolutely certain that no one in the next 6 generations of his family tree would have made such a request again. Jeffries, I'm telling you, I would have made that question such a memory. It would be told every sanguinala by half the regiment's grandchildren. I would have had a statue erected in my name with the verbal diatribe that I would have unleashed in the town square of Ceres.
Is he asking you out on a date, or... Wait, can commissars have families? Can they date people? Can they... I'm just wondering about that now. Yeah.
He looked at me and asked if I would attend his wedding. At first I...
Yes, go to the wedding. Oh, that is so cute. That is so nice. That is so nice.
Wanted to jump out of my chair and throw my boot at his head, but no. A week later, there I was, attending a wedding, standing in a field of grain, surrounded by people in his family and his wife's family who had all heard about the regimental commissar and who all wanted to meet me. I tried to maintain my image the best I could, but then one of his civilian friends got up to speak. He raised a glass and made a toast to the guardsman and to the guardsman's new wife, Angela, and said, "If he doesn't do right by you, you know who to go to." And then he points to me, and by the throne, I can't believe what I did next. With everyone in the wedding looking at me, I reach down and start tapping the grip of my bolt gun, and I'm glaring daggers at the guardsman. And everybody laughs, and even I start grinning.
Ah, you're enjoying this party. I can see that. Huh.
Jeffries, it was this place, it was this world. I began to understand why the commissar I had replaced was so relaxed here. This was a place that war forgot, that the time and rush of life seemed to crawl to us slow. I didn't stop drilling the regiment, but by that point they were approaching Cadian standards of physical fitness and preparedness, but I did stop with the other things. The first year after the wedding saw me actually beginning to enjoy the world. When the next harvest day happened, I actually marched the entire regiment to the center of town, and with the regimental commander grinning like an idiot next to me, I told the whole regiment not to come back for 3 days. Of course, we got mobilization orders, but Jeffries, the first time a general mobilization order came to my desk, I got so excited, but these orders came with the same regularity. At least once every few months or so, and I had been told they had been coming for years, decades, centuries even. The mobilization would get called, report statuses would be transferred, and then nothing would come of it. The guardsmen barely even knew the order had been given because the order for deployment would never follow it. Yeah, every once in a while a new commissar like me or a new regimental commander would come in, get the mobilization order, and actually act on it. They only stopped doing it after the 4th or 5th time, even I gave it the 6th. But then I stopped doing more than giving it a glance, just to see where troops were gonna go and what sort of enemy they were gonna fight, if even that was there. For 6 years, Jeffries, I was on that planet following a routine of drilling followed by hours of simply trying to fill time. You'd be shocked how much you can invent for yourself to do when there's so little to occupy yourself with. There's only so many times you can inventory the planet's military storehouse. There's only so many hours you can dedicate to cleaning and polishing. And when your guardsmen are at such a state of readiness, there's only so much more you can do to make them more ready for a war that will seemingly never have to fight.
Yeah, this is really affecting him. I want the commissar to relax, but like I said before, you have to prepare these people for any types of eventualities that might occur on Avathon IV. So yeah, he has to find a balance between his duty, his work, and some alone time and just relaxation and rest. But because he's a commissar, such things are frowned upon. You know, they have to be always be prepared for any type of situation. They have to be the ones who are making sure that the Imperial Guard is ready, for any type of situation. And they can't be the ones be relaxing and enjoying themselves and, taking off their boots, walking around barefoot and, enjoying the sun. No. No. A commissar cannot do that. So yeah, it's a hard life, It's a very hard life for him.
So I started walking and talking. I started taking an interest in my guardsmen and in their personal lives. Started off plain enough, like what drills do they enjoy and which ones they don't. how you feel about the two types of las rifle you use, the Galaxy Pattern or the MM32 that some local Forge World had sent about 20 years ago. I even learned some of their first names, though thank the God Emperor I never caught myself using them. Some of the guardsmen even started calling me this local term, like boss or bossman.
Hey! Hey, okay.
After 6 years on the planet Jeffries, I didn't want to leave. These people I had considered rustics and unworthy of my time were now... Jeffries, this is what the Emperor wanted for us all. Faces that weren't drawn from back-breaking labor in the manufactorum, but lit up from sunlight and time spent in open, clean air. Spirits that weren't crushed under clouds of smog and the looming threat of an endless war that just constantly. I walked the streets and the fields of what was called an agri-world, but Avathon IV was a paradise. I lived there. I loved it. 4 more years and I would be up for reassignment. But what man in his right mind would ever leave a place like this? I had seen war already. I've traveled the stars. I would stay.
You have family now.
I wanted to stay in this place that was alien to everything I had ever known. But it was to this place that I now belonged. The guardsman had a child, and I was there at her 3rd birthday with a little girl demanding to be picked up, surrounded by my guardsmen. And that's when the runner came. Another mobilization order, and I almost chewed out the private who brought it for wasting my time. The first line of text completely dissuaded me from that. The Scholar does not teach you not to feel fear. It teaches you how to bury it beneath duty, how to manage it so it doesn't show to your guardsmen. The Scholar teaches potential commissars to wall themselves off to such emotion. I felt my training kick back in as I read the mobilization report, but the change to my outward personality let everyone there know something was wrong instantaneously. I had gone from smiling and laughing to as cold and distant as I had been the first day I had arrived.
But I can assure you now, these troops are with you. You are their family, they are your family. Yes, you can still kill them at any moment should they disobey your orders or something like that. But, the fact that they can sense that, okay, the Commissar is serious right now. He's not playing around, he's not joking around, he's not smiling anymore. This guy is serious. They're going to stand right beside you, or, they will be with you when you guys are mobilized to go somewhere and fight. Yeah, they're with you.
At the top of the order, in bold print, were the words, "Invasion imminent."
Wow. Okay, this was good. This is really good. Hey guys, that is Commissar Story Part 1, Avathon 4 by Old Man Reacts. Yes, this is good. I like the story. The Commissar coming to a planet, he never really expected that he would, be assigned to. He didn't like it in the beginning. He just thought this was a prison, this was a nightmare, the green grass, the fresh air, the tall trees, the local people living their lives in such a very rural, aesthetic and culture and stuff like that. And, he comes from a hive world. He's a hive city boy. And now he's here in these rural areas, serving as the commissar for the regiment. And it was tough for him in the beginning, but he made sure that the regiment on the planet was ready for anything. You know, he drilled them, he made them practice hand-to-hand combat, practice with the weapons, marching. Yes, it was tough, it was grueling, but it was necessary. It was necessary to keep the blade sharp, you know, for any type of situation, whether they would be deployed somewhere else across the galaxy or they would be defending their home from any type of invasion, which is what's going to happen, you know. So that's the good thing. That's a very good thing. And also how the Commissar started warming up to the people over a duration of time, you know, how he had the difficulty of trying to focus on his duty, but you know, when the duty could no longer offer any type of activity, what does the Commissar do next, you know? And here he is, he's being invited to some guard regiments, weddings and baby showers, you know, and all of these family activities, and he's being brought into the community, he's being trusted by the community. He is, I would say he's being loved by the people in the community, and you know, he has garnered their respect, their love, and their support. And now that this is going to happen, this invasion of the planet is going to happen, I can assure you these guys are going to be with the Commissar 100%. I don't think any of them are going to question the orders of the Commissar, you know, because they have that trust, that bond, and that's important. That's very important. Yes, I know that the Commissar, you know, is there to make sure that you know, the Imperium of Man forces do what is necessary to fight against the enemy, and you know, they are authorized to use lethal force on officers or guard regiments or you know, any regular soldier in the Imperium of Man. They are, you know, given that authority to shoot them on the side should they not do what is expected of them. But I just don't think it's going to happen here with this Commissar. He has their trust, he has their respect, and yeah, I just wonder, what are they going to be invaded by? You know, is it the Orcs? Is it Dark Eldar? Please let it not be Dark Eldar. Please, it can be anything else, just not Dark Eldar. It could be the Necrons, it could be, I don't know about the Tau, maybe not, I don't know. Or it could be Chaos Marines, or it could be a rebel faction in the subsector itself of, you know, Vernus. Yeah, it could be like a rebel faction that is trying to take over the subsector. So I guess we'll just have to figure that out next week. Yeah, with part 2. Hope to see you guys there as well for part 2. And if you want to check out the original video as well as Old Man Reacts YouTube channel, the links are in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And also remember that I'm going to be reacting to the playlist. So the playlist card is going to be at the top. You'll probably see it here, you know, the boxes. So you can click on that when the future reaction episodes come out. And yes, Old Man Reacts, this is good. This is very good. I can't wait to hear more of the story. Alright, guys, that's it. Bye-bye.